Warning. This content may be offensive or disturbing to some audiences. r/AskReddit. What is the worst notification you have received whilst someone else has had your phone? My sister-in-law was staying with me for a week, which I wasn't stoked about. My sister knew about it and messaged me, "How are you dealing with sister-in-law's name? Do you need to pretend to have an app again lol?" Unfortunately, my sister-in-law was borrowing my tablet at the time and saw the notification pop up. She hasn't stayed with us since. Task failed successfully. Many years ago, my sister-in-law made a Facebook post about that moment when you can't even stand a person anymore. It was very vague, but she had not left the house all day, and it was mostly just me and her. Pretty sure the post was about me. I never did ask her about it, but if I remember correctly, I did give it a like. Edit. Found the post. Have you ever had anyone annoy you so much that the very sight of them or the sound of their voice makes you uncontrollably show disgust on your face? I have. What a passive-aggressive power move. My friend made this fake account on Twitter and followed me exactly at the time my teacher had taken my phone away. The notification read as, "Anal Fister 69 has followed you." I'm surprised there aren't more teacher stories. For me, that's easily my most mortifying one. I had this roommate my sophomore year of college, and we had a very weird, close personal relationship. I was in my Spanish prof's office hours, and she was waiting for me at the cafeteria to get lunch together. Just before going in, I texted her and asked her to get me some fries, and then I turned off my phone. I was showing my prof my paper on my laptop screen, very much forgetting that I had iMessage set up on my laptop. I'll never forget the look on his face when a notification from my roommate came in with her jokingly saying, "I'll get you fries, but only if you sincerely feed them to me while you call me daddy." Suffice it to say, that was my last time visiting his office hours. I was the one doing the sending. I moved to Japan a couple of years ago, and early one morning I was at a market and saw a tanuki statue that had the full cotton balls on display. I took a picture of it and thought it would be funny to send my brother a message reading, "Unsolicited dick pic." Then send a pic of the tanuki statue. Little did I know, halfway around the world, my brother was doing some late evening car shopping. He had recently been in an accident that had totaled his car and was in the market for a new one. He had handed the car salesman his phone so he could show the guy the pics of the damage to his car, and the guy was looking through them when the words, "Unsolicited dick pic," popped up on the screen. My brother said the guy nearly dropped the phone trying to shove it back in his hands. Brother could get extra points for telling salesman that it was just his brother sending him a dick pic. Cue banjo music. Don't worry, it's just my brother. Salesman shoves faster. I was ordering food off of DoorDash on my ex's phone when she got a text from guy saying he couldn't wait to see her that weekend. She told me she was going to see her mom. I have a friend who is an EMT that had a similar experience. When he went to work, he'd often take his iPad with him to play around on between calls. This time though, his girlfriend had forgotten to sign out of Facebook on it. So all of a sudden, the iPad starts going nuts with notifications. He looks and finds the reason is because his girlfriend was flirting and arranging a date with another guy. He didn't speak to her for the rest of his shift and broke up with her when he got home, sending her back to live with her mother. She made a bunch of threats that she'd kill herself and she'd self-harm if he didn't stay. He told her too bad wasn't his problem anymore. Unfortunately, he still has to deal with her as they have a daughter, and he tried to get custody but failed. He does his best for her anyway though. Edit. A lot of people have wondered about if/how he doesn't have custody, and I actually don't know much about that situation myself. He'd talked about taking her to court after a prior incident, and it sounded to me like he had a good case from my not a lawyer perspective. I never heard anything about following legal proceedings, or if he even had any after that point. I do know he's getting married to someone else in the near future, and they've seemed happy when I bumped into them. A couple of years ago met a guy from Tinder in a pub for our first date. Things were going well, we were having a laugh and flirting. After about an hour I took out my phone to show him a funny meme, and up popped a notification from my new period tracking app saying, "Today's the day you're ovulating." I swiped it real quick, and I don't think he got a good look at it, but I was still worried he'd think I was some child-obsessed weirdo who timed my dates so random Tinder guys could impregnate me. I turned off ovulation notifications after that. Edit, and I was the sender once when I text my friend who was planning to break up with her boyfriend, "Hope you're okay, how did Gary take the breakup?" When Gary was using her phone and hadn't yet been broken up with. Sorry Gary. So how did Gary take it? Very badly. They had been together for 10 years, and he was completely blindsided. He was a very self-centered person, so the fact that his relationship was in tatters, they hadn't slept together for 2 years at this point, and his girlfriend was deeply unhappy had apparently passed him by. Other way around, I was holding ex-husband's phone while he was driving me and the kids to the airport. Text comes in from a work colleague asking if we'd left yet. It was then that I realized the marriage was over. That sucks. I find that if I don't get into any extramarital business, I don't have to worry about my wife holding my phone. It makes things quite a bit easier. Yeah. If your SO holding your phone makes you nervous, you're doing something wrong. Ouch. Hope you're doing well. It was a long time ago now. I can truthfully say I'm the happiest I've ever been. New job alert from ZipRecruiter while at work. I got a call to set up a job interview while I was in a car with my manager, who had applied for the same job. Awkward. I got the job though. Did you drop your manager off at the burn clinic? It sucked because this was actually a manager I liked and respected. This happened to my friend. I sent him a text of a wet cat and said, "Look at this wet pussy," while my other friend's mom was holding his phone. She just awkwardly gave him his phone back. That's what friends are for. Not my phone, but a Hangouts notification that popped up on the screen while my new boss was standing behind me to train me on a new program. The message from my husband asked, "How's the pooper?" I was so focused on the task that she saw and read it before I did and collapsed to the floor in hysterical laughter. I read it and immediately lost it too. In tears from laughing, we were frantically talking over each other, her trying to apologize for the unprofessional reaction, and me trying to explain that Pooper was our dog's nickname because he was getting over a bout of diarrhea. The rest of the office was so confused. I was chatting with a guy, and it was going well, nothing sexual, maybe mild flirting. So I didn't care when I gave my buddy my phone for some reason. Then across the room he yells, "Yo, this dude just asked if he'd be down for anal." It was embarrassing. He sounds like the kind of person that would yell that, even if that wasn't the message he received. Oh, he is. I love the guy. I saw the message and was instantly turned off and handed the phone back over to my buddy, and he had so much fun trolling this dude under the guise that I was the one texting him. It was awesome. For like a year, whenever I didn't want to chat with anyone, I gave my phone to him and he dealt with it. I want a friend like that. Border Patrol had my phone and my buddy sent me a text in which he jokingly said something like, "What makes you think they'll let you in this time?" Or something like that. Oh no. Did you actually get through? Yeah. I'll give you the backstory because I think it makes the whole thing a little crazier. For starters, my name is a scene here. Crossing into the States after 9/11 has had its moments, let's say that. Also, with my background come the typical jokes close friends will make, hence the text. Actually, I think my friend's text was in response to me sending out a general message to people that I was heading down to the US. But this time crossing, I had signed up with a company that pairs people willing to drive with people who need their vehicle somewhere that they don't want to drive it to themselves. Like snowbirds, who go between Canada and Florida/Arizona or California, etc. It was my first time working for them, and I was going to pick up a car in Florida and drive it to Northern Ontario. I was flying down to Florida, and in the Toronto airport there is an American customs which clears you before leaving, rather than when you arrive. The thing about it was, I didn't have as much information as I would like to have had. I didn't know the name of the person whose vehicle it was, I didn't have the address of where I was picking it up. I had email correspondence with the business owner, but he was a little behind on providing the relevant paperwork. So, in this case from a border officer's perspective, I do kind of understand the rigmarole that followed, because you had a single mail with a one-way ticket to Florida, and a not so substantiated story about how I was going to not stay indefinitely in the States. I was directed to secondary inspection, which is a place I'm pretty familiar with. Except this time I didn't notice the signs about not using electronics while in there, because I was too busy staring at my phone. The secondary inspection area was just a room with a lot of empty seats and nobody else. I waited for like 10 to 15 minutes playing around on my phone when the door I had entered opened, and an officer who was probably preoccupied with something else passed through, noticed me on my phone and was like, "Hey, you can't be on that, give it here." So off goes my phone with the officer as they exit to another room. A seemingly long time goes by and another officer comes back with my phone and my relatively congenial question period begins, where I have to explain, among other things, what the hell I'm doing in the States, and how it works, why I might not get let into the States, as per my friend's text, which he must have sent while I didn't have my phone, and a joke concept I had saved in my notes app about smoking weed. But after all that, I did get let through. Arguably coming back with someone else's vehicle across the border was a worse experience. Not my notification, but I sent to my best girlfriend, "You're right, future husband's dad is weird. And a little racist." And her future husband saw the text. Luckily he laughed and agreed with me. But I was so embarrassed that he saw it. I think that's wholesome. My aunt was like, "Hey, is that the new Samsung? Can I see it?" I say sure, and then I got a text from my GF. "Good news. I had my period." Man, everyone has been there, she understood. Unless they were like 14 and family members didn't expect them to have sex. Not if your family is extremely religious. I would be dead if that were me 18 plus or not. Potential contact with a corona positive person. Must've made the person who had your phone pretty worried. I was showing my grandma some pictures. She chuckled a bit and quickly handed me back my phone. I looked at it and saw that my boyfriend, now husband, had texted me saying, "I hate it when I'm pooping and my dick touches the water. Big dick problems." We laughed about it, but my husband is still horrified by the thought of my grandma knowing about his big dick problems. Well, no, the internet knows about his big dick problems. The people that need to know are the ones designing the ducking toilets. A friend of mine sent me a message for the first time in 4 months that was just, "I love you." Right as my GF held the phone. Alright, so since everyone's asking, all that happened was that I explained it to her, messaged him explaining how I think he confused the shit out of my GF, and we are still together today. LMAO. This post shows us that phones just need a simple side button to temporarily turn off all notifications. Simple solution to this is to just smash your phone. Can't get any embarrassing notifications if you don't have a phone. This actually happened recently. I gave my dad my phone to call my mom because his phone was dead, and my GF sent me a text that said something along the lines of, "Hey, do you wanna have some fun at my house tonight?" My dad lost it. Edit, just to clarify, he lost it by laughing. He didn't ground me or anything. Story apps can give really interesting ones. My favorite that popped up while my boyfriend was holding my phone was something like, "Mike misses you. Come back and play," or something like that. Of course all he did was pull the drop down menu down to see the full notification and laugh. He teased me about it for hours. I had that happen a long time ago. I used to be really into autumn games, dating sims, and the notifications for those were always a hoot. I was showing my friend a YouTube video one day when a notification for a Valentine's Day event popped up, asking if I was ready to spend a steamy romantic night with insert name of pretty anime boy. I deleted the app shortly after, but my friend still asks how my anime boyfriends are doing. Not exactly a bad message, but I lent my jacket to my crush, and it had my phone in its pocket. Someone sent me a message, so she got it out to give to me, but unfortunately she had sent me a message before that, and saw that her name was marked with a heart. Awkward night after that. Wait, your crush saw her name saved with a heart in your phone, while you lent her your jacket? Repeated this cause I felt I got it wrong the first time. How is that anything but sweet? Awkward for sure. At this point, we don't know whether she reciprocated the feeling or not. Sounds like it was a one-way crush, in which case, kinda weird to do the heart thing. Not really my phone, but I had text notifications on my computer, was working with a vendor, and sharing my screen. My SO picked that time to send me a text that said, "That was the most amazing sex we've ever had last night." I silenced the notification as fast as I could, but the vendor went quiet for half a minute and then said, "Good job." So got out of that awkward zone pretty well. I never shared my screen with notifications active ever again. I was showing my coworker a picture of my son when my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, sent a text. It was something along the lines of having a threesome. Plot twist, the third person in the threesome was the coworker. Was showing my mum some cake ideas for my wife's 30th that I was considering. My wife texted me and my mum, for unknown reasons, got a full view of my wife's spoon with the caption, "Guess what you're eating for dessert tonight?" I tried to grab my phone back, and my mum went back to browsing cakes without skipping a beat. As I was leaving, my mum thought it would be funny to ask, "Would you like second dessert tonight? Because I have a trifle in the fridge." I nearly died of shame.